to Safe Space, a place for you. I know young women out there, you're enjoying this, and I'm glad to always have you here. And I know you're always waiting for the next episode. You're always waiting to see when we are and to see when we are coming and what we are going to talk about. Safe Space is a place for you. I want you to be comfortable. I want you to love this space, and I want you to be active. Send in your questions. We're going to talk about them. I know sometimes we don't have people to talk about these things with. Our parents, sometimes we don't have where to share such hard questions from. So Safe Space is a place for you. I want you to know that we share the real stories, we talk about the hard conversations, and we learn from each other. So welcome to Safe Space. My name is Livia Arinda. I'm a life coach. And we are continuing. In our last episode, we were talking about sexual integrity amidst the pressure in today's world. And I know so many of you are going through the pressures. And I know you really need to talk about this. I'm not alone. Joining me today, I have the beautiful ladies. And they are going to introduce themselves. We have to tackle this thing in detail. You're most welcome.
Oh, thank you. My name is Asinde Fiona Proscovia. I'm a law student at Macquarie University. I'm also the founder of the African Tribe and Recycling Lab. But most importantly, I'm a proud member of the Girls and Mentorship Space.
Thank you so much, Livia, for hosting us today and for hosting us on this very beautiful topic and space. My name is Akankunda Allen. I'm a teacher, a secondary school teacher. I do teach literature English. I do volunteer with Family Life Network under the program Becoming a New Generation Bank. I am a peer mentor with the Women Solidarity Initiative, and I'm a proud member of Girls and Mentorship Space. So glad to be here.
Good to have you here.
I'm Kathy Ishimge. I'm a journalist and a businesswoman. I deal in men's clothes.
Wow, good to have you all here. In today's world, when you talk about sexual purity, some people will look at you as backward.
I know.
And especially if you're born in town and you've grown up in town, sometimes because of the exposure we talked about in our previous episode, the sources, someone by the age of 18, they are so much exposed to sexual content, both online and offline. So when you talk about sexual purity, it is something very hard, and some people will not understand you. So today I want to talk about why is it important? I mean, how can you convince me to be sexually pure? I need to test. I need to know how. I need to practice so that when I grow up and I start doing these things, I'm perfect at them. So why is it important for someone to be sexually pure?
Wow, I hear practice. I don't even know what you're practicing. But anyway, that's what people keep on saying, that the practice makes perfect. But I really doubt there's anything you're practicing. You're practicing to do what? To raise the leg higher, to do what? Okay. You can learn on job, yes, and actually it's the better because you now you're dealing with the right tool at the moment.
But even when you're working, they ask for working experience. So if you practiced when you're young, then you can.
You know you're going to do internship and they don't retain you.
I know. But most importantly, I would encourage young girls and boys to practice sexual purity, because most importantly, if you engage into sexual impurity at a young age, you lose yourself along the way. You know, engaging with very many multiple partners comes with a lot of things along the way. And most importantly, it is the STIs. Sexually transmitted diseases can change the story of your future. It can, before you know, you've ruined your future in the long run. Imagine you get HIV, and we have not yet reached a place whereby someone can freely get their HIV and they embrace it and they proceed with life normally. There's still stigma. Of recent, actually, we lost someone at the hospital at Lago.
Sure.
It was a young girl of 21 years. Okay. So they got HIV. Of course, because of sleeping up and down, you know that the trend. Yeah. These are real things that's happening, and it's common among young girls. I don't know if you've been observant. Young girls are dying. I don't know if you've noticed that trend. Very many young girls are actually dying.
Even boys, like youth.
Young people are dying. 21, 22, 23. just before 30. So this girl got HIV, and I think she feared to speak.
To speak.
So by the time she went to the hospital, she already had AIDS, and there was nothing that could be done. Of course, she had to die. So it was a young girl of 21 at campus. She was being beaten. So that is artificial rain.
That is so unfortunate.
Just imagine the pain the parents have been going through, and she has been the slay queen. People are saying, oh, slay our slay queen. We've been slaying her, but at what cost? Because that the luxury is not sustainable. It is not sustainable. Nobody is going to enable you to sustain your luxury for a whole, unless if the money is from your parents' pocket or from your own pocket. But if it is handouts from people, it really comes at a cost.
A cost, yes. You have to pay for it.
Yeah, to me it's important to keep sexually pure. Like sex is spiritual. And the moment you sleep with a person, you're going to join with them in the spirit. Like they share a part of your soul. So imagine you're sleeping with this person you're holding. I've had this to experiment, like when you have a piece of paper with gum and you put it on a wall, and then you have to pull it out, like to remove it and gum it. Some parts of it will remain on the wall, and then you can press it somewhere on another wall. Some parts of it will remain. Like at that time you get married, you're empty. You're empty. You're most everyone, like the whole village is having parts of you. You've shared your soul with everyone, and there's this blood mingling. They say that when you've slept with a person, you've slept with the people they've slept with in 10 years. Like you've shared part of who they've slept with, because they share.
As you sleep with them, they already have
the people they slept with. So and also, it's a network.
So you keep on sharing.
Yeah. So spiritual, I think it's more spiritual than we see it physical. And people have spiritual problems. And the easiest way a person can transfer their spiritual problems is through sex. People are going through ritual. People are sacrificing. And they are going to tell you, go and sleep with a young person, a young girl. They come and give you money. They sleep with you. They are doing ritual with you, Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, and that's why nowadays you find people who are having uncoordinated problems. You find a young girl out of the blue, someone faints uncoordinatedly, someone has weird issues.
Somebody has failed to get their real person, like a soulmate, to get married to. Every person you relate with in that way, they run away. Why?
Because
there's something chasing them. There's something chasing them. You slept with a person and maybe they did something to you. Maybe they had their ancestral things in the blood, and
and they connected you to that you will never get married. So
and
they marry you with some demon.
Yeah, and nowadays I have been to very many churches and people are saying, Pastor, you pray for me. I'm having a spiritual husband. It's also becoming something very common nowadays, that issue of spiritual husband. And I think it's because of that whole thing of sexual.
And most of the times, things of the spirit, when you're not into spiritual things, you will not understand. You keep on living when you're dead. You keep on facing things. You keep on getting things not working out, and you're not understanding the background or the source of what is happening in your life. Yeah. So it's okay because sexual purity is something like a shield. It shields you, because how beautiful it is for one person, the person who's going to marry you, to only be the one to see your nakedness. Like it builds trust. This person is if this person is unfaithful and is going to mistreat you, but they are going to know that this person kept themselves for me and me alone. That sense of integrity and self-esteem. Yeah, so I think it's really good.
To my side, I think the most important thing is you'll avoid the unnecessary pregnancy that we're having all over. And then the disease part. Exactly, abortions. And we're having so many single mothers. And
actually nowadays they even piss me off all the time. You're on TV crying.
Everywhere
because
crying,
you refuse to keep yourself.
And you know that sometimes some people say why they can't keep themselves pure. I've gotten issues of people who have tried to keep themselves pure, but then they are disappointed in relationships. So after the disappointment, they start giving out themselves. They're like, why did I keep myself to this person? And yet
Then you're revenging in a way, like killing yourself for the other person who moved on and maybe they got married and they are better and they are happy.
I think sexual purity shouldn't be for someone. It should be
It
for
should
yourself.
for yourself.
You should be yourself.
For you.
I'm protecting myself from HIV. I'm protecting myself from unwanted pregnancy.
Exactly.
I'm
For the future of my husband, for my children.
It shouldn't be for anyone
Purity
else.
should be self-purity.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
myself,
Not for anyone else.
You're not doing it for anyone.
Wow,
to be
this
out
is
there
a hot
suffering on your own.
topic, and we are still continuing. We are not yet done with it. So keep at it. We are not going to leave until we touch every part of this topic. So don't go away. We are going for a short commercial break, and we will be back. Welcome back from our short commercial break, and we are still continuing with the discussion. Just know what is going on here. It's really boiling. And our topic of sexual integrity is bringing more issues, and we're going to look at the role of parents, the community, because it's hard to do it one person to remain pure one person, because the people who try to lure us into losing our sexual purity, they're also in our community. So what is the role of our community, our parents, our churches, and our teachers, wherever we are? What's the role? How do they contribute to help us to remain sexually pure?
To me, I think we should not be judgmental in the first place with people who are not trying out their best to be pure, because they have reasons. Most of them may be having reasons, maybe financial constraints, they are forced,
Financial constraint is the biggest one.
Who has lost his parents or her parents, and they don't have any source of income, and then they come to they give them a job and they tell them they're going to be like maids, and then you reach there, they've brought you to work, but then when you reach there they tell you.
So society shouldn't be a platform or a space for crucifying these people. Yeah, but they should. Okay, if a person messes up, they should be guided. Like parents should have these people, like if a person has been sexually impure and maybe they've gotten pregnant, and maybe they should give them some safe space to correct and be who they want to be. There's always a chance, and there is always grace to still come up here to change and be better
and learn from them.
Yeah. So society shouldn't just be a ground to crucify these people or to judge them. We should first look at what's making these people become engaged in sexual immorality, what's making this girl sleep around with men, and help her guide her.
Like for example, when you say that, I remember that sometimes parents, you find there is a houseboy, like the example she gave, you are not available as a parent, you're not present. So you bring a maid, or it can be a houseboy or a house girl at home, and then you're leaving them with your children. And then these are the people, because you're not available, these are the people who are teaching them these things. So parents should be more involved, because they should not only judge. For example, in such a case, if a child misbehaves or becomes impure, they should also look at their own contribution before they judge the child.
They judge the child. Yeah. So society should guide. They should come in to be supportive of the people who are engaging in sexual impurity. Maybe ask them how they can be helped, what's making them involved in sexual immorality. Guide them. Some people don't know that it's even bad to sleep around. They don't know that that's a lifestyle.
A lifestyle.
Yeah. So they should be guided. I think there's need for mentorship spaces. Then church should also be open and maybe have singles programs, then teenagers, Yeah.
But then you talked about church, and if it reminded me, someone was saying there are days when someone will be safe in church. But then these days, even in church, we are not safe.
I know.
You got
And the pastor.
the pastor is looking at you. The youth leader is
know,
looking at you.
yes.
So even in church, sometimes
It's not safe.
Even your fellow churchgoers.
So everyone is looking
There's
at
when actually,
nowadays-
there's when we thought that getting a man from church is the best, like you've hit the goal, but now there is men.
because they knew your trick. They knew that when you go to church, if you want to get a Christian woman or whatever church you go to, you have to be in the. They go there and pretend that they are.
But now also nowadays people go to church not purposefully because they may be looking for Christ or because they are intentional. Many people are just looking for solace. They're just looking for a place where they can. And nowadays, there's a way church has made church be so interesting and stress living. You go there, you dance the whole
and
day,
enjoy.
and then just I was like, instead of being here stressed with the world, why don't I go for an overnight? At night, I'm going to dance. I'm going to be and their dances nowadays they dance in church.
In church,
People be jumping, touching each other. Like, what's not
touching each
happening?
other.
Yes, so some people find they are like,
Shaking.
yes, someone's like, it's now instead of me being around here and I'm bored, let me go to church.
Okay. So what about schools? What can schools do? In what other ways can either schools or other parts of the community contribute?
I personally think that first it should be you yourself to say, to be able to judge and tell and be like, if I involve myself into these things, what are the outcomes? And then I think when it comes to schools, schools should be having those open discussions where they're able to teach those children at school the different things that they should be knowing about sex. It should be like an everyday thing. It should be a normal thing. They're supposed to be learning about these things at an early stage so that by the time they reach to a time where they're sexually involved, where they're practicing, they know what to do, they know the safe ways of doing so that they avoid all the trouble that they're likely to face in the future.
So we should not shy away from it. We should
it should be
attack
a
it,
normal thing. We should be talking about these things. It's not just if you're being talked, if they're telling you some things like on a daily basis, even if you're about to mess up, there's always something in your mind and you're like, oh, so and so talked about this. If more than 3 people talked about it, I'm pretty sure by the time you are likely to mess up, you have a change of mind and some way or the other. You'll always think of what you're about to do and the repercussions.
Yeah.
And another thing I want to tell the viewers is that sexual purity is possible. Like, it should be, like, it's possible, it's really possible, and it's possible for a person to keep themselves even after messing up.
So
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you short. For example, you're at a stage, like the stage where I'm at, where you're about 20s and something.
no, just don't talk about the extra.
Exactly.
And the body is
And-
boarding, and the things are demanding.
Exactly.
And the pocket is empty.
Leave alone the pocket being empty. You go and work. Don't just be lazy. But there's
I mean
a
the
stage
body
where
is
you
body.
exactly. There's a stage where you reach. You're not yet married. You're not like. There's always. I would advise such a person to at least, because people carry different things around. I'm not advocating for those who are sleeping around, because I believe there's so many in a wicked world that we're in. People are having so many curses they're moving around with. You're going to carry along all those things. You do not know where they're coming from. I feel you can have your one partner and find the safest ways of being. You know?
I also agree with that. I think because we are dealing with adults and some of these things are just natural. Commitment, like for
Nature
marriage issue,
demands.
commitment, many people are not yet ready to commit because of someone you're still sorting out yourself. So it's really, it's not that urgent or you cannot commit at the moment. But the body for it, you cannot explain to it that, I'm not
yet time.
Yes, not yet
That's why
time.
that self-control fails.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, you also end up giving in. But in case you are to give in, be safe. Like, I am not ready for babies. That is one thing.
I'm not
And I
I'm
don't
not ready for diseases.
And I'm not also advising you to just find the safest ways possible. So, condoms. come in hand.
And nowadays, condoms have really done you good. There are very many flavors around. You have no excuse.
You can't start using okay, these are the family method, the family planning methods. They're good when it's the right time, but for people who are like us, who have not yet given birth, try to avoid those other things, because they also come with other effects.
And by the way, there is that trend that is ongoing. People have nowadays using emergency pills as a family planning method. Just like you hear the word emergency,
anything, read
it
about
must be an emergency.
Yeah, in case of an emergency, not something to consume on a daily basis as if it's food. Those things have effects.
Yes.
So as we conclude, there is an issue in schools where now that teachers are the ones, because in schools, most of the young people are in schools, we assume. So in the schools, the teachers are the ones who are supposed to protect them. And now it is a challenging thing that the teachers are the ones who are
exploiting
them. So just in 1 minute, how can we help these ones who are in school? Because if you don't give in, they don't give you marks and all that.
I watched this. There's been a trending video of a girl.
I was a disturbed girl at school from primary actually, but once you decide, make sure there's no way this guy is going to refuse to give you your marks if you've worked for them. But if you're a lazy girl, you're not studying, you're like doing all other things, he'll also have an excuse. But if you're one person, you will never miss preps, you'll always in class, you always you read hard
also be
to make sure that you earn your marks.
Examples and
There's
role models
no
to these
way
teenagers.
you will wake up and you don't have the marks.
Look for other
people of your age who are outside too.
But then also, I think
there are also people who tempt the teachers. You know you have problems, like the problems I have, and then you come to class with a very mini skirt. Then you sit in front. You open your legs. What is that teacher going to think?
I know.
Me, I'm on the teacher's side. On the other side. Because some of these kids tempt the teachers. I think it should be a two-way.
Yeah.
Let the teachers try to so much, because people bring their kids because they feel they're going to be safe at school.
So we should protect ourselves as also other people help us. So like we said, sexual purity should start with us, not with other people
At the
around.
end of it all, it starts with self, you as a person.
Wow, thank you so much all for coming. I'm really honored to have you all. Thank you so much for being with us today, and that's what we are able to share. But I know you have questions there, so feel free to share your questions with me on 0705 232311. And you can also check on my social media platforms at Arindas Livia and share all your questions, all the hard questions you want us to share about. We shall really be glad to share about them and help you. And if you want to talk to our coach, you can still reach out to me either on my social media platforms or on the contact that I have shared. Or if you want to be mentored, we shall be glad to be with you. Safe Space is a place for you. Feel free to utilize it. Bye-bye.